Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, so again, welcome to our week 3 of our fourth quarter. Okay, so last meeting, we discussed about the storage devices and what are the different types of storage devices and the process called digitization process. Now, for this week, we will be discussing about different intellectual property rights and how do we protect these different intellectual artwork. Okay, but before that, I'll be showing you pictures or basically logos of different establishment, and then what you're going to do is identify the name of this establishment. Okay, so number one, what logo is this? Okay, this is the Greenwich Company. Next, okay, pen shop. This is the logo of the pen shop. Okay, very good. This is the Nor brand. Okay, this is the Shakey's restaurant. Next, okay, this is the National Bookstore logo. And then the last one is, okay, so this is the Shell Company. Okay, so how did you know these logos? Yes, John. Okay, very good. You are already, according to John, he is familiar with these logos because of their brand. Okay, so he knows this logo because this is their branding. Okay, very good. We are familiarized with these logos because this is their logo. So basically, their logo is their branding, their brand. So meaning, the Shell company or the Shell gas company is associated with this logo. So meaning there are no other companies that uses this kind of logo because it's the intellectual property of the Shell company to use this logo. And even the red call, the shade of red and then the shade of yellow, basically it's attributed to the Shell company as well. Okay, so our topic for today is intellectual property. The main focus is LO3 or the learning outcome number 3, maintain stored work, but to be specific, LO 3.1, perform safety procedures in maintaining stored work. 3.2, maintain accurate and complete records of stored finished work. And 3.3, monitor and evaluate the condition of stored finished work in accordance with the requirements for different types of work. Our learning target. Okay, so we're going to define the intellectual property rights. What's the definition? What are the underlying principles beside or behind intellectual property rights? Then next, we're going to differentiate the different IP rights. So we have different types of intellectual property rights. Now, what's the unique what's the characteristic of each IP right? And then the last one is, of course, we have to discuss the importance of these IP rights. Okay, question. What do we mean by intellectual property rights? Yes, Clarice. Okay, thank you. Basically, according to Clarice, intellectual property rights has something to do with our intellectual, I mean, any form or any product of our mind from the word intellect and property. Okay, very good. Okay, so basically, intellectual property rights or the IP or the IP rights refers to the ownership of an idea or design by the person who came up with it. We use the term ownership. So meaning if you are the designer, the writer, the creator of something that is a product of our mind, you are the owner of that product. It is a term used in property law. Another definition is it gives a person certain exclusive rights to a distinct type of creative design, meaning that nobody else can copy or reuse that creation without the owner's permission. It can be applied to musical, literary, and artistic works, discoveries, and inventions. Please note the term exclusive rights. So since you are the owner of that product, you have the sole rights or the exclusive rights to use it in any way you want. And that the law guarantees you that nobody else can copy or reuse this item or this product because you are the owner and you have the exclusive rights as to which way and how would you use these products. That is what we mean by IP rights. Now, we have two aspects of intellectual property rights, the attribution and then the profiting. What do we mean by these two? The first one is attribution. When we mean attribution, your product, the product of your mind, should be attributed to you. Meaning, your name must be included or accompanied when this product is used for other purposes. Let's say, for example, Facebook. Facebook is a intellectual property of its creator, and one of its creator is Mark Zuckerberg. So meaning, when we discuss about Facebook, there's no other person to attribute Facebook other than Mark Zuckerberg. Another thing, another example, the gown used by Catriona Gray, the designer is Mac Tumang. So basically, when we are discussing about the gown that is used by Catriona Gray in this universe, there's no other name to be attributed to other than Mac Tumang. That is what we mean by attribution. When you create something, your name should be included or that product should be attributed to your name. Next aspect is profiting. When you say profiting, pagkakitaan, basically, if it's your product, if it is the product of your mind, you should be the one to gain profit from that product. Let's say, for example, balik tayo sa Facebook. Mark Zuckerberg is the creator, attributed, the Facebook was attributed to him because it was his product of his mind. So anything that can be that can gain profit inside the Facebook website or the Facebook application, he should be the one to earn from it. So meaning all the sales, all money involved in Facebook should go to him. Mac Tumang. So ibig sabihin, all profit will go to Mac Tumang, the designer of Catriona Gray's gown. Okay, so basically, these are the two aspects of intellectual property rights. Number one is attribution. The product should be attributed to your name. And profiting, you should be the one to gain profit from that intellectual property right. Because you have the sole exclusive rights. And in the Philippines, we have legal basis. It's RA 8293 or an act prescribing the Intellectual Property Code and establishing the Intellectual Property Office, providing for its power and functions and for other purposes. So basically, this law says that all of legalities when it comes to intellectual property falls under the Intellectual Property Office. Question: what are the different classifications of intellectual property rights? Going back to the learning target, I differentiate the different intellectual property rights. So we have different varied classifications of intellectual property rights. Okay, so the first type of intellectual property is what we call the copyright. Copyrights protect writing, pictures, music, art, and other forms of intellectual works. If people want to use, reuse, or repurpose your work, they must first contact you to use it, attribute you as the owner, and use it for purposes you deem appropriate. Other examples of works in which copyright subsists are artistic work, a novel, poem, photograph, movie, lyrics to a song, a musical composition in the form of sheet music, a sound recording, painting, a plan for a building, and more. So basically, a copyright is more on the artistic side, protects artwork, such as writing, pictures, music, art. Okay, so um, they must first contact you, attribute you as the owner, and use it for purposes you deem appropriate or dun sa pinagkasunduan nyo. But not all the times we should follow this one. There are some exemptions to copyright. This is what we call the fair use. If someone wants to use a portion of your work for educational purposes, parody, commenting, or news purposes, they can use it. Again, fair use is an exemption to copyright. But fair use states that you can use a portion of the artwork. So meaning, if it is a novel or a literary piece, you can use excerpt. If it is an artwork, of course, you cannot claim just a portion of that artwork. You can use the portion, you can use the whole artwork. However, you have agreement with the artist. But for purposes only, such as educational, let's say for lecture and discussion purposes, parody for plays, commenting for criticisms or other form to evaluate the artwork, or news. Okay, so that is what we mean by purposes. Fair use, I'm sorry. Now we have three elements of a copyright. The symbol C, the letter C in a circle, or the word copyright, or the abbreviation COPR. The year of first publication of the work, and then the name of the owner of copyright in the work. As for example, here, if we are going to see this copyright in any artwork, this means that the copyright belongs to Jane Doe from 1996. If I'm not mistaken, the copyright protects you, it's either 50 years from the original copyright or 50 years. There are some circumstances that the copyright is granted throughout your life plus 50 years after your death. Okay, so it's either of the two. Another example, if we're going to see this one, this is a book or a literary piece copyrighted to Bill E. Elliott from 2018. Okay, so we have a a famous issue with regards to copyright and plagiarism. It was way back 2012. This is supposed to be a speech of Senate President Vicente Soto III, wherein it's a direct translation from Robert F. Kennedy's speech, Day of Affirmation 1966 in South Africa. So it is still considered as a plagiarism, a violation of a copyright, because it is a direct translation from another language. Okay, so that is copyright. Next, I was supposed to show you this one, but I can't find the original file, the original video already. This is a screen cap from the movie Three Idiots. In the last period, or in the last scene of the movie, the main what do you call this? The main lead is Rancho, and he has 400 patents. He is a scientist, an inventor, a creator, a designer with 400 patents. So what do we mean by patent? Patent is, by the way, is another form or another type of intellectual property. A patent is a right granted to an inventor by the government that permits the inventor to exclude others from making, selling, or using the invention for a specific period of time. The patent system is designed to encourage inventions that are unique and useful to society. Congress was given the power to grant patents in the Constitution, and federal statutes and rules govern patents. This is actually a US definition, the second one. In the Philippines, if I'm not mistaken, it is also the Intellectual Property Office. Now, going back, what is patent? It's a right granted to an investor that permits the inventor to exclude others from making, selling, or using the invention. So basically, if you are a designer, a creator, an inventor of something, you have the right when your design is patented to you, meaning you have the right to be to exclude others from making it, copying the design, mass producing the design. So basically, attribution and profiting as well. And when you are an inventor and you have patent, you are actually the government is encouraging you to create more inventions because your design, your creation is safe from copying by other people. We have three kinds of patent: the utility, the design, and then the plant patents. The first one is the utility patents. This is the most common type of patent wherein these are granted to new machines, chemicals, and processes. Okay, so this is a type of patent granted to machines, chemicals, and processes. Design patents granted to protect the unique appearance or design of manufactured objects, such as the surface ornamentation or overall design of the object. Basically, design from the word itself, it protects design, a concept. Even if it's just a blueprint and you were granted patent, the design is protected. And then the last one is the plant patent, granted for the invention and asexual reproduction of new and distinct plant varieties, including hybrids. Asexual reproduction means the plant is reproduced by means other than from seeds, such as by grafting or rooting of cuttings. So basically, it's for the plants. Okay, so these are the three kinds of patent: utility for machine, chemicals, and processes; design for designs; and then the plant for plant. Let's give an example. iPhone. It's a it's a patent and it's granted to Steve Jobs or the Apple company. The design of the iPhone cannot be copied by other tech companies. Okay? So another, the quadcopter drone. It's a design of a drone patented to Edward G. Vanderflip. This one. Okay, so that is what we mean by patent. Okay, so the third type of intellectual property rights is what we call the trademark. A trademark is a unique symbol or word or words used to represent a business or its product. Once registered, that same symbol or series of words cannot be used by any organization forever as long as it remains in use and proper paperwork and fees are paid. The trademark serves as brand identifier for your business or your products. Images, logos, and colors can all be trademarked. The logos or the short activity that we had earlier before we start our lesson, those are protected by the trademark law. Because they are logos, they are branding, they are brand identifier of specific establishments and organizations. So images, logos, colors, and even the font type can be trademarked. So ibig sabihin, it's the shade of red, yung example natin kanina, the shade of red of the Shell company is trademark to the Shell company. So there's no other gas company or other companies that can use that red, especially if it is used in a Shell type of logo. That is what we mean by trademark. We have three different symbols that we use in a trademark. The TM, using the trademark symbol after a logo or phrase, alerts competitors that you have claimed this symbol or phrase as your own, but you don't have to have even formally apply for it. The R or the registered Only trademarks that have been fully granted or officially granted by the trademark office can use the R symbol, which stands for registered trademark. And then the last one, the SM, is the companies that sell services, not products, have the option to use the service mark logo, but most use the TM instead for simplicity. So basically, TM stands for trademark. Registered, the R is for registered, and the SM is for service mark logo for services. Ayan, though the R with circle is a registered trademark. TM without circle is unregistered trademark. SM without circle is unregistered trade service trademark. C is a copyright. R is a registered trademark. TM is unregistered trademark. So basically, pag may bilog, it is a registered trademark. Example, the Starbucks logo is a TM without circle. So it means that TM, the Starbucks logo and the Starbucks name is a trademark, unregistered trademark. Next, the Jollibee. The Jollibee company and the Jollibee logo is a registered trademark because it uses the R with circle. So meaning the Jollibee logo and the Jollibee brand and even the color red of the Jollibee and the Jollibee font cannot be used by other companies because it's a registered trademark and they should have consequences for using it without the use or without the permission of the Jollibee company. Now there is a meme that recently became viral. It's the 7-Evelyn logo or the 7-Evelyn store. Okay? We can find it very humorous, comedic because from the 7-Eleven company, they transform it to 7-Evelyn store. However, a few days after it gone viral, the logo and the tarpaulins was shut down by the 7-Eleven company because the 7-Eleven, if I'm not mistaken, is a trademark or a registered trademark by the 7-Eleven company. So this orange, this green, and then this red, even this logo itself cannot be used by other companies because it will have confusion. Okay? Next. The fourth type of intellectual property is what we call the trade secret. What is trade secret? Trade secrets are a type of intellectual property that comprise formulas, practices, processes, designs, instruments, patterns, or compilations of information that have inherent economic value because they are not generally known or readily ascertainable by others, and which the owner takes reasonable measure to keep secret. Basically, it's a secret from other trading companies. So there is one animated series that has this aspect of trade secret in their theme. What do we or anyone who would like to share what is the name of this company? It's a Nickelodeon. It's a Nickelodeon animated series. Yes, Clarice. Okay, very good. It's a SpongeBob SquarePants series. Okay? So, ano dun yung trade secret na aspect? The trade secret aspect is the recipe for the Krabby Patty. For context, for those who are not fan or who doesn't know SpongeBob SquarePants, in this series, there is a famous Krabby Patty. Okay? It was run by Mr. Krabs, the owner of the Krabby Patty. And then he has an ultimate competitor, the Chum Bucket. Krusty Krab is the restaurant wherein you can eat Krabby Patty run by Mr. Krabs. And then the competitor is the Chum Bucket run by Plankton or Sheldon. Okay, so for the longest time, Plankton is looking for the secret recipe of the Krabby Patty to copy it for his restaurant, which is the Chum Bucket. However, for the longest time as well, for most of his trials, he doesn't succeeded because one, if I'm not mistaken, there is a one episode in the series wherein it was revealed that there is really no secret recipe for Krabby Patty and it is just an original, a basic burger for the series. It's just to elongate or to move the story outline. Okay, so that is what I mean by trade secret. So I cannot give you a specific example because it's a trade secret. Some would say the Coca-Cola, what do you call this? The Coca-Cola brand or the Coca-Cola product is a trade secret as well. The formula in creating Coca-Cola, and also the herbs and spices used by the KFC, the Kentucky Fried Chicken. Okay, so there, what we know in the public is that there are 11 herbs and spices that comprise the chicken recipe of the KFC. Okay, so let's have a short activity. Okay, before we end our lesson, to check if you understood our lesson. Identify which intellectual property can be applied on the following. Let's say, for example, land of the morning, child of the sun returning, with fervor burning, thee do our souls adore. This falls under the copyright because it's a song lyrics. It is an artistic piece. The nature of this is an artistic piece. Okay, so I'll be showing you the first one. Yes, John. Okay, very good. It falls under the trademark category because of the R logo, which stands for registered trademark. So it simply means that the McDonald's logo, this M, this color yellow and color red, and the McDonald's name itself cannot be used by other companies. Next is Clarice. Very good. This is a copyright. If I'm not mistaken, it's a scene or a painting by Fernando Amorsolo. You can see here his artistic way of painting, and then the color used, the face, the structure of the face, and even the theme itself. Most of Fernando Amorsolo's painting are focusing on life in a farm. And so this is copyright because it's an artistic work. Very good. Next. Yes, James. Okay, very good. This is a patent. To be specific, utility patent. Or we can also use design patent. But most of it, basically it's a utility patent because it's a machine. Okay? So it means that this design of the Apple or the iPhone is patented to the Apple company. And this one is patented to the Samsung company. Next. Yes, Archie. Okay, very good. This falls under the copyright category. The lyrics sa ilalim ng, it should be NG. Sa ilalim ng puting ilaw sa dilaw na buwan, it's a copyrighted lyrics from the song Buwan. Tama ba? Buwan by J.K. Labajo. Tama ba? And then the last one is Hass Avocado by Rudolph Hass, horticulturist. Okay, very good, James. It falls under the plant patent. Hass is the name of the horticulturist or the scientist, Rudolph Hass, and this is a type of avocado, meaning Rudolph Hass invented or created a new breed of avocado, and he called it Hass avocado. Okay, very good. Now, question before we end our discussion for today. What is the importance of intellectual property rights? Anyone from the class? Okay, very good, Wilbert. Okay, so according to Wilbert, intellectual property rights is important because it encourages creators, designers to produce more of their inventions. Okay, thank you, Wilbert. Next, Anna. Okay. Okay, thank you. Very good, Anna. According to Anna, it is important to have intellectual property rights so that we know whom to attribute these intellectual property rights. Very good. And okay, very good. According to Ian, it is important as a creator to have this intellectual property rights because we are protected by attributing, and profiting from our original creation. Okay, very good class. I hope we understood our lesson for today. We were able to define what is intellectual property rights and differentiate the different types of intellectual property rights and to give the importance of intellectual property rights. Okay, so for our assignment, please make sure to turn in your week 1 and week 2 outputs. Okay, so since this is the last week of our fourth quarter, um, we will be lightening. We will make sure to lighten your workload. We will not have our assignment for next meeting because we don't have any more next meeting. But make sure to submit or to turn in your week 1 and week 2 outputs. Okay, so with that, do we have questions? Okay, so we don't have any more questions. So with that, thank you for being with our class. Thank you for participating in our class. And we will be seeing each other sooner or later when we have our face-to-face classes. Hopefully next school year. Goodbye, stay safe, and enjoy the rest of the day.